Hi everyone, Nathan here, and I'm hoping that all of you have been working hard, but being sure to rest and take your time to, get restored during this break. Today we're going to be talking about what I asked you international students a few weeks ago. I asked you to send in your questions regarding exams, whether it be GCSE, A level, or anything else. And so today we're going to go through those questions, and I'm not going to say the names because I just copied and pasted the questions across and then worked my way through them. But I'm sure if you head over to the video where I did say put your questions there, you'll find all the people in the comments below. Okay, so the first question is, are there any changes to the January 2021 A-level exams? Now, I'm going to see if I can create a video for this in a couple of days, but if not, this is the basic gist. For the most part, it appears that January 2021 exams will happen and they will operate in the same way as the autumn exams a few months ago. So hopefully we'll see some gentler grade boundaries and some provision for students who miss some of the exams but not all of them. If you miss all of them, it's looking like that's it, you have to be entered at a later date. But if you miss just a few of them, it looks like there might be a way to actually manage to get a mark out of that, even though you didn't sit every single, say, maths exam or every single English exam. But they're pretty much the same, so make sure that you're studying up for those. Question number 2. If the country is currently in lockdown, what is going to happen? Well, this most likely depends on the country itself. As far as international exam boards or English exam boards are concerned, education and exams are still continuing as planned. So see what's happening in your local area and what they're planning to do for exams. Otherwise, just assume that you're doing them. Okay. Everything that's been released is online, so you can go and check them with your exam board at any point. Or if you're still wondering, just go and ask your teachers or your exam centre. But they're happening, is what I'm saying at the moment, until we get told otherwise. So next one, do you think that in the 2021 summer session, marks will be awarded more generously? Well, as we know, here in England, the exam boards will be awarding marks more generously, and they did it for the autumn series, and they'll be doing the same for summer 2021. They've already said that. Now, international boards appear to be doing the same thing. So I know that Pearson Edexcel and Cambridge International are adjusting their boundaries or component scalings. And this is to keep within their policies, which say that they align their awards to the standard of England, which makes sense. Okay, that way a GCSE, whether it's international or normal English GCSE, carries the same weight because they're not too out of alignment with each other. They're being graded to a similar sort of generosity. Next question. I feel like us international students are so forgotten. If they cut the content, I'd be satisfied already. But I like what they're considering. I have mocks beginning of January 2021 and I literally know almost nothing. Now this isn't a question, this is a statement. But I do find the first sentence interesting. I don't think that you've necessarily been forgotten. It's just that as a group, you international students are so much more difficult to manage than candidates using the systems of the countries that they're from. And that's because you're all in different places and you're all experiencing different levels of disruption due to what's going on. So some of you are in complete lockdown, some of you have it fairly okay, and there's barely any cases in your country. So it's a lot harder for the exam boards to put out policies that will keep things fair and level without maybe disadvantaging others or advantaging others unfairly. So I can see why this is tough for them to sort out, and I can see why they don't want to say too much without, first of all, very thoroughly reviewing it and seeing what other countries are doing as well. So, yeah, it makes it hard for everyone, your teachers, the exam boards themselves, and of course, most importantly, you. It makes it harder for you to keep track of everything, but it's just one of the downsides to being an international organisation, an international set of exams. Alright, the next question. Cambridge has instructed our schools to keep collecting evidence and submit all our mocks in PDF. So are they considering predicted grades for 2021? I don't know. All I'll say is that this is probably due to the fact that the future is so uncertain. So I don't think they know either. All they want is to make sure that all bases are covered just in case we do end up with a situation where we get a repeat of last year, where we are having to submit CAGs. Current news reports aren't looking too positive in the UK, but at the same time, exams may still be seen as the fairest route, and they may make ways to make sure that the exams take place even if the entire country is locked down or anything like that is happening. So all I'll say is just keep working consistently, because when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. If you're doing your work properly, then, you know, what's the evidence that your teachers are getting? What's that got to do with you to some degree? Because that's for them to sort out. You just need to keep working. All right, the next question. Hey, are there any chances for lower grade boundaries for international students who gave GCSE and GCSE O-level exams of Cambridge International in November 2020, as they are checked in England? Okay, there's a very, very good chance that the grade boundaries for autumn for international students will be, well, that they will be generous in alignment with the English ones, because as I said before, they try to keep it on a similar level. And I've actually got a quote here from the Cambridge International website, and this is what it says. It says, the four nations of the UK, that's England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales, are each handling 2021 exams differently. Cambridge International is most like England in that we are fully committed to holding exams in 2021, aligning our award standard to England as stated in our code of practice, not reducing content, awarding grades to students who have been able to take some of the components, and confirming our list of in-exam aids such as calculators. So in other words, as they said in that second point, they're aligning their award standard to England. So whatever generosity England exams have, they will have as well. And when it comes to students who miss some, as I said before, they will still be able to receive a grade in some way. But you have to have sat at least some of the exams during that period. And that's the case for the summer. That was for 2021. But if that's the case for 2021, it makes sense that that would be the case for autumn as well. Of course, this isn't definite, and I couldn't really find anything where they definitely said something for autumn. But, you know, if that code of practice says we line up with England, and they have to line up with England, there's not really much they can do about that. And the next question that I have is, how do you feel about our 2021 GCSE exams? Well, I think that everyone's been heavily disrupted. We all know that. But teachers and schools have bent over backwards to make ourselves available, to support students, to do all the live lessons, to send out resources, to do all that sort of stuff. And students, you have a lot of resources at your disposal. So you have to try and make the best of a bad situation, just like any individual student would have to if their life was falling apart at the same time that everybody else was taking exams. That has to happen. As things currently stand, I don't yet strongly believe that there's a replacement for exams, or that there's a system that's been put in place that's a replacement for exams to the same degree that exams are, with the same thoroughness. So until they come up with something that will be as solid as that, whether it be a combination, whether it be something else entirely, to me, it's a good thing that they're saying that the 2021 exams are taking place. And I know some of you might disagree with that, but I've slowly been won over to the side of maybe exams should happen, but that's only if they cannot come up with an alternative. Because if there is an alternative that is fairer, that is better, then they should definitely go with that. But I'm just saying this because I can't see a currently more fairer way. But you know, it's tough to say. And the final question: why do Excel not care about IGCSE students? This is not fair. First of all, life is not fair, as I've said before. Unfortunately, bad things happen to good people, and the smartest don't necessarily win. The worst students don't necessarily get bad grades. It's just the reality of life, unfortunately. But I've never actually thought about exam boards as having to care. I know it's bad, but maybe they do, maybe they don't. I've always considered it more that exam boards have a job, which is to provide courses, provide exams, and the aim of those courses and exams are to assess students properly and fairly. That's it. I always thought that it was more up to regulatory bodies and governments to sort out how fair things were and whether students were looked after. And I know this is bad, but when it comes down to it, Excel is just a company with a specific job. So I know that they're working with people's lives, but most companies are, and most are pretty indifferent to people when it comes down to it as a whole. So the individuals inside might care, but as a whole, the running of the business it's going to be pretty impersonal. So, if there's anything that I've learned over the years, is that you pretty much have to fight for everything worthwhile in this world, and not expect it to be handed to you. There will be challenges, there will be tough things. This will not be your biggest challenge in your life, simply put. A lot of you will have much harder futures coming up, and that's just because life isn't hard, or life isn't easy or predictable. It's quite hard and challenging, which is part of the fun to it, but it just depends on how you perceive it and how you take it. So what I would say is, rather than bothering yourself with what EdExcel's thinking and how they're thinking and whether they care or not, you just have to see it and say, what can I do in the situation that I'm in? How can I fix this? And just go from there. I know probably not the answer that you wanted to hear, and sorry if it does sound a bit harsh, but you got to keep going. You got to use what's at your disposal, and rely on the help of those who are there to support you, whether that be your teachers, your parents, your friends, or anyone else. So there's the answers to the questions that were in that comment section. If you have any more, please be sure to put them down in the comments below. And also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any other videos in the future. So thanks for listening. That's all for today. Until next time.